Alrighty, Wilbur, just take a little bit more of a shine right here. Go over the horn. A little closer. Oh, hey everyone, and welcome to Groove Builders, the show where we create together. I'm your host, Disorderly Cone. I was just polishing my horse today in preparation for a new build that we're going to be adding to our armor collection, the Naoe Kanetsugu, probably just butchered that, Metal Earth Samurai armor build. This model looks really cool, not only because it has a new paint job on it, but also because it has some unique forms that we really haven't seen before. How is this compared to our past armor builds? What tricky bits are there, and does that paint job get in our way? These are all great questions, Groovers. Let's get down to the workbench and take a look at our package. And boom, there we have it. All 8 pages needed to build the Naoe Kanetsugu Samurai armor. This might look a little bit overwhelming at first, but trust me, we got this, even if we need a little bit of TLC to get it done. The first thing we're going to take a look at is the paint and some of the head details. Second, we'll take a look at our torso and skirt. Finally, we'll talk about getting those difficult cylinder shapes needed for the legs and arms, and also talk about putting all of our assemblies together. Overall, this build does feel pretty familiar, but that doesn't mean there's not going to be some complications, especially with the shiny stuff. Looking around, I can see we have a couple of new builders out there, so let's go over the basics, shall we? First things first, these metal models require us to cut out our pieces, then shape them using whatever we can. When our parts are correctly shaped, we can connect them together by inserting the tabs into their insertion holes. The way we secure our tabs is indicated in the instructions by these circles and triangles. Personally, I always try to follow the instructions the first time when it comes to building these if I can. Then when the build is complete, I'll go over everything again and change anything that might stand out. That's how you get that museum quality you hear so much about.
Hey Yoshi, you're the one who makes cleaning oh so fun.
Oh! What kind of tools do we need to build our samurai armor? That's actually a great question. Luckily, we have a tool expert that's really well versed in this kind of a thing. Timothy?
Please remind me to mute comms in the future before you sing. Another samurai warrior is being added to our collection, and this one is one of the most famous of them all. To build this iconic armor, you will need nippers, tweezers, mandrills, and tapping punches. No more singing.
Thanks, Timothy. But I'll have you know, I tried out for American Idol one time, and Simon Cowell said I had a great voice and amazing hair. He just didn't vote for me. Now, as always, these are just our recommendations, and you really don't need anything but nippers and tweezers to get the job done. But of course, having the right tools will make everything a lot easier for you. Now, we've looked at our instructions, and we have all our tools. There's only one thing left for you to do, and that's to press that like and subscribe button. We're currently trying to get to 4,000 subscribers here on the show and really could use your help. But no pressure, though. Oh, that sound? That's my 3D printer. I'm printing a squirrel that's going to be used for a really cool sprinkler thing. Future video, though. If you press like and subscribe, you might check it out. Oh, thank you so much! You won't regret it, and I won't let you down. We got some really cool stuff on the way, and I can't wait to see you there with me. Alright, Groovers, let's get down to the workbench and get building. The Metal Earth Naoe Kanetsugu Samurai Armor is a model that shows how far Fascination has come with their color models. While this build might feel similar to my fellow armor builders out there, the coloring on this model is truly unique. It's almost like a gel coating, and while this might look nice, the gel does get in the way of some of our connections. If you run into this problem like I did, I found the best way to clear off the gel is to take your tweezers and slowly scrape it off. Or if you have a razor blade nearby, that also might work really well too. By slowly scraping off the gel, being careful not to dig too far down and scratch the paint off, we can clear off some of that excess gel, making it easier for our parts to connect together. Okay, now that we got the whole paint thing out of the way, let's take a look at our helmet. The helmet has us doing some interesting bends. The first thing we're going to be bending is part 2. By using a mandrel, we can get a half-cylinder shape in the top and bottom of our mask. It's important here not to overbend these pieces, so only put a slight bend in it at first. After ensuring that the engraved side is out, the next thing we'll be adding is some of our smaller details. For the most part, all of our smaller details here are formed just by bending the connecting tabs and then securing them to the base like parts 7 and 8. If you start to find that your smaller details are warping, try using 2 pairs of tweezers to help you get the right bend. When it comes to our dome for part 6, we can use our doming tools to help us get that correct shape. Alternatively, if you don't have a doming set, you could just bend one petal with your tweezers, using multiple bends to get the correct shape. Then, go to the next petal and match up the borders. Doing this all the way around will get you a perfect dome. Finally, when it comes to connecting the back parts of our helmet, it's important to pay attention to the order that the parts are installed in. It's way easier than you might think to get turned around here, and pre-bending our tabs here will save us a lot of headache and of course help us with our final shaping. If you would like, while installing these pieces, you can try to get that eggy, domey shape. Just be careful not to overform the pieces. Trying to get your tabs in after you've formed them makes it almost impossible. Oh man, look at our helmet. This is looking very cool. Let's keep going. The second thing we need to talk about is shaping our torso. Parts 18 through 21 have us making 4 rounded bends. Estimating where to put that rounded edge can be a little bit tricky, and if you do it in the wrong area, it'll make our armor look all wonky and it'll be near impossible to get our arms in. I found the best way to estimate where to make these rounded edges is to actually connect all of our parts together. This way, 18, 19, and 20 and 21 will have a consistent bend all the way up. After double checking our instructions and getting the 4 bends the way we like them, it's time to put our assembly together. Pre-bending our tabs here is a must, but be careful not to scratch the paint as we put the 2 halves together. After going around and securing both sides, we can start working on our skirt. Similar to the back part of our helmet, we need to stack these parts together. Make sure when doing the skirt detail to put the parts in the correct order, and also make sure they're on the right side. After making 5 purple and 2 green leaves, we can grab part 29 and begin installing them one by one by following the picture. After installing them all correctly, we can go around and shape them using our mandrel. We're looking pretty good, but before we grab part 31 like the instructions say, we should install the torso. This order makes it a lot easier for us to be able to install the torso because the belt doesn't get in the way. It's super important to secure these tabs as much as possible because if they become loose, it will completely take away from the model. Wow, this armor's really coming along, but we still need to get through some tricky bits. Which brings us to our third and final point, shaping the legs and arms. When it comes to these pieces, having a good shaping tool is a good way to get a nice finish, but getting the finer details will be up to you. When forming our leg pieces 35 and 38, it's important to install the ribbon details made from parts 33 and 34 first. Trying to attach these details after forming the cylinders will be very difficult. Avoid the headache, attach the ribbons first. Now, our legs are straight cylinders, but our arms are a little bit awkward. Let's look at part 47, 48, and 49. With part 47, start with a bigger tool than what we need and begin shaping the part into a half. We can do the same thing for parts 48 and 49, but where it gets a little bit tricky is attaching all these parts together. I found the easiest way to get everything attached here was to bend our tabs up 90 degrees and then slide the insertion holes over the tabs. Eventually, the tabs will fall into place, and this will create almost a locking effect, making it a lot easier for you to be able to secure the tabs. Once everything is connected, we can then use our tweezers to work out any imperfections that might have happened when we were trying to put the whole assembly together. Now that we have all the tricky bending out of the way, we just need to attach all of our parts together and make sure that we alternate the way we twist the tabs. This way, we have the tightest connection possible. And look at that! So shiny! And there we have it, the Naoe Kanetsugu samurai armor from Metal Earth. This build looks fantastic when it's complete, especially with that new paint job that Metal Earth has placed onto it. Now, is it easy to put together? It's about as difficult as the past armor we put together, except with that added difficulty of this little painted layer. Sometimes that paint can get in the way, like I said earlier, and just involves a little bit of chipping away. Mind you, a little bit delicate, you don't want to take away the paint, but with a little bit of chipping away, everything can come together really easily. Can I recommend this for new builders out there? Yeah, I can recommend it. There are some complicated bits, like in the head here, the shoulders, and of course in the legs. But once you get past those details, this build comes together quite well. Alright Groovers, that brings us to the end of our show. I had a really good time building the Naoe Kanetsugu armor with you, and if you guys had a good time, don't forget to press that like button. For more videos like this, hit subscribe as well. We got all kinds of really cool content coming out in the future, and of course, if you want to pick up a build just like this, head over to groovebuildlers.ca. We have all kinds of really cool models at great prices with fast shipping to the United States and Canada. Until next time, Groove Builders, keep building. Now, this armor's complete. It's time to look for our next model.